It was part of the original plan for Tablas Creek. I mean, we knew the varieties we wanted to work with because we'd created this project to do southern Rhone varieties in California. And when we started looking at the southern Rhone varieties that were here, we didn't really like what we saw very much. There was Syrah here, there was good Syrah. There was Viognier here. But there wasn't good Mourvèdre, there wasn't good Grenache, there wasn't good Roussanne. Those didn't have a very good reputation in California. And the more research we did, the more that we decided that it looked like the clones that had been brought here because they were high productive clones as opposed to high quality clones. And so what we decided to do was bite the bullet and bring in new cuttings of all the principal Rhone varieties from Beaucastel. And that also allowed us to work with some of the really obscure varietals that had never been brought into the country. So we ended up bringing in new cuttings of Mourvèdre, Grenache, Syrah, and Counoise for reds, and Roussanne, Marsanne, Viognier, and Grenache Blanc, and Picpoul Blanc for whites. We only were allowed to bring in 6 cuttings of each clone, so we ended up with 6 vine cuttings that we brought here, planted in flower pots, and then had to turn into the thousands of vines you need to start planting a vineyard. So you can see the vines that are behind me are some of those original mother vines that came through quarantine that have been growing in pots ever since. And what we would do is we would grow these vines for a year, let them die back in the winter, and then take single bud cuttings off of them. So you can get dozens of cuttings off of a single vine in a single year, put them in new pots, grow them, and the whole process grows exponentially. The quarantine process is testing for viruses. It wouldn't need to be that long if it were testing for pests or, like phylloxera is the famous wine issue, and that's a small flea-sized root parasite. But with virus, what they need to do, and it seems like incredibly low-tech, I guess they're working on a DNA test that's going to make this easier, but what the technique still is they take your vine and they graft onto it what's called an indicator vine, which is a vine that's susceptible to a specific virus, and shows that virus visibly, and grow it for about 3 months, and see if that indicator vine shows signs of sickness. And if it does, they know that it's because of contact with your vine, and your vine must have that virus. If it doesn't show signs of sickness, they cross that one off the list, cut that off, and graft a new one on. And there are 9 viruses that they need to test for, and it takes about 3 months to do each, and so it just takes 3 growing seasons to do the testing that they need to do. We have these vines, we brought them in for our own use, but while we still had the vines in quarantine, we started getting requests from other vineyards who were interested in getting cuttings from us. And we made the decision pretty early that we weren't going to try to keep the vines proprietary, that we were going to make them available to other Rhone producers who were interested. Because we felt that the biggest thing that was holding back the category of Rhone varieties was that the clones weren't very good. And if we improved the whole category of Rhones, that we would benefit, sort of the rising tide lifts all the boats idea. And so starting in '97, when we had enough extra production beyond what we needed to plant just our own vineyard, we started selling grapevine cuttings, and we sold over 1 million cuttings over the next 6 years from here, all produced here. And then 4 years ago, we worked out an agreement with a larger nursery up in Sonoma. So they come down and collect our prunings every winter, and they graft them and market them as Tablas Creek clones, and they've done another 2 or 3 million cuttings in the past 4 years. So we've now sold grapevine cuttings to more than 400 different vineyards and wineries around the West Coast, and it includes most of the producers who are doing really exciting stuff with Rhones right now. And I think that's incredibly exciting for me. I'll go to an event like the Rhone Rangers tasting or Hospice du Rhone and walk around the room and realize that 80% of the wineries there have Tablas Creek cuttings in the ground. And this whole movement has become possible because of the decision that my dad and the parents made at the beginning.